I just watched the videos of Tyre Nichols the beating he took before he died in the hospital 3 days later. Let's talk about it.
Logic, the language of equations and mathematics, is the only true common sense humans have on this planet today. Love as the service, as the commitment, is the answer to the question, why do we even exist? That is why I believe, and I hope you do too, that the logical conclusion is love.
Hi, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Rod Lewis, and this is The Logical Conclusion is Love. Today I'm going to talk about the Tyre Nichols incident, which is the one that happened recently, where 5 black police officers are now, or ex-police officers are now charged with murder. The videos came out Friday, and I watched them, and I took some time to get my thoughts together because, trust me, I got a lot of thoughts. But without further ado, let's get right into it. I'm shocked and appalled, and everyone was wrong in that whole situation. I hold no one blameless. The situation did not need to go down the way it went down. Of course, the police officers are going to be more responsible because they're the ones who are wearing the uniform. But trust me when I say I believe everyone was wrong in that situation. And before I go even further into this, I want to apologize to anyone if I hurt any feelings. My intent is not to hurt any feelings on this channel. I try and look at things logically, and I try and deliver that logic with love. So if I do hurt any feelings with anything I say, if anything you disagree with, feel free to comment below. We'll talk about it. I think the best thing that can come out of this, something like that, is a conversation where maybe we expand our knowledge. The worst case scenario would be we agree to disagree. I'm not going to engage in any battles or social media battles over any of this because I don't think that's useful for anybody. First off, let me start by saying the police in this situation look unprepared and untrained. The first thing I saw that made me think, okay, these guys aren't really trained right, was when they were trying to tase him. There was 5 people on the guy. They were spraying mace. It was getting all over the police officers. And the guy got away. That let me know right there they're not really well trained. Okay, for whatever reason, 5 people on one person, they couldn't maintain a hold of them, right? If you got 5 people, one person, even if he's strong, can fight off one person can fight off 2 people, one person can fight off 3 people. The more people you have, the less likely a person should be able to fight off and run away. If you take one person per leg, one person per limb, you're going to have a victory there. All you got to do is hold them. They can only fight for so long. They'll get tired. You wear them out. Yelling repeatedly, give me your hands, give me your hands, give me your hands, give me your hands, does not solve any issues. Tasing over and over, especially if you tase somebody once and it doesn't affect them, it doesn't do any good. Like, there was so many issues. The police officer who got the mace in his eyes, I watched this, and I'm a veteran. Did 16 years in the Army. I learned during one of my training events, because the Army is always training. One thing I learned very early on was if you get something in one of your eyes and you go to wash it out, you don't wash it across your eye into the other eye. This guy started off with something in his left eye. They were pouring water down his left eye, went to the right eye. Later it came right back. Oh, my right eye now. So he poured this way, and it was just, as I watched it, I just saw a lack of training, a lack of readiness. So that led me to believe that, something bad's about to happen. Also, the police looked emotional. And I'm not saying police should not have emotions. Everybody who's a human being has emotions. However, if you're wearing a uniform and you have emotions, especially negative emotions, you're supposed to put those in check and do your job and deal with those negative emotions afterwards. If you're out there being a police officer and you're holding up a barricade or a barrier and somebody spits in your face, you're going to be upset. You're going to be mad. But you can't just pull out your gun and shoot them because you're mad. You can't take a stick and just continue to beat them because you're mad. That's a lack of professionalism. That's a lack of protecting and serving. There's so much wrong with that I was really disappointed in what I saw. I mean, that really bothered me, the way they snatched him out of the car in the first place. That wasn't necessary. There was a lot going on there. I mean, I understand Maybe they had fear. They were afraid that he might have a gun. I don't know what the situation was. I don't fully know why he was stopped, but that was the wrong way to go about it. When I saw the beating portion of it, once he got away and they were actually, had him in cuffs, had his hands behind him, they were punching him in the face. One guy ran up and kicked him in the face. Then he got a stick, his baton, and started beating him. Literally, the beating was so long, I got bored with it. I got bored watching the beating because it was just the same thing over and over. Give me your hands. Give me your hands. Give me your hands. Punch them in the face. How are you trying to get somebody to give you their hands and you're punching them in the face? Obviously, they didn't know they were being filmed, but I truly wish somebody would have came out the house or called more police to come and stop this situation because it was ridiculous what they were doing to that man. Somebody should have came out, brought a camera out, like, look, you're being filmed, to make him stop. The emotion, the kind of, it's easy to get caught up in emotion when other people are caught up in emotion and you're sharing a common enemy, right? Or you feel like you're sharing a common enemy. Like they were all chasing this guy. He got away. Some people found him. Then the guy who actually lost him came up and he was there. And there was so much that you hear him talking after the beating was mostly done. He's sitting up outside the car. You hear him talking about, oh, he put his hand on so-and-so's gun. And, oh, this dude's cock strong. They're saying all these things and they sound nervous at that point to me because they kind of knew they overstepped their bounds. They knew they went way too far. But that was just a horrible situation to see, a horrible situation to experience for the world. I wish we didn't have to have something like that ever happen. And I hope it never happens again. And with that in mind, I'd like to address Tyre Nichols himself. I don't think he caused his own death. I don't think it's right to even assume that. However, I'm in my late 40s, and I was always taught to be respectful of police officers, when you get stopped, and that has served me well. And I understand that people have different mindsets now about telling kids to be nice and just, listen to the police officer and be respectful. People have a problem with that sometimes. And I get that because if you look at it the wrong way, it can feel like people are like you're being deferent somehow to the police officer, like you're giving them some type of ultimate power or something like that. Like I can get it. I get that. However, if you look at a police officer as a human being, and if you give respect to every human being, it's not that far-fetched to think that maybe you should be respectful when you're stopped by the police officer. Now, this situation was really way out of there because even when they went to get him out of the car, they weren't being respectful at all. They just snatched him out. But they threw him on the ground and, they were trying to get him to lay down. They were confusing the hell out of him and they were confusing the hell out of me because they kept telling him, lay down, lay down. He was on the ground laying down. They didn't say lay on your stomach. I would say at a certain point, I wish, and I'm sure people who loved him, wished he would have just laid down before he took off running away, was laid down and dealt with the situation afterwards. And I get the fact that we have in this country put a lot of fear in young black men's minds that the police are out to come get them and shoot them up and kill them and everything. There's a part of our country where that is a threat. People think that is a legitimate threat. And when they get in those situations, they are afraid. And it can cause them to make really bad decisions. People don't make the best decisions when they're afraid. That's not how things work. When you're afraid, you make the quick decision to get out of something, right? Or to fight or flight. That's anxiety. That's what it is. So I think now might be a good time to kind of slow that anxiety thought down for our young men and stop having them be afraid of the police officers. Because I know, just like everybody else in the world, police officers just want to have a regular day where nothing big happens. Everybody wants to go to work, do a job, and go back home. Nobody wants to have paperwork, stress, anxiety, nightmares of having to fight, shoot, kill somebody at your job. That's not how real life works. Nobody wants that. So I think if we accept that fact, that nobody wants that, not the police officers, soldiers, we don't want to go out and just kill people, kicking my hand. I spoke to my hand. Soldiers don't want to just go out and kill. That's not how we want to live our lives. Nobody wants that. So with that in mind, hopefully, we can heal as a nation and get a little better and deal with the situation and limit these situations. I do think the police chief did an awesome job. She did an awesome job as a police officer, or as the head of police over there. She got those guys off the job very quickly, without pay. It got the charges out once they showed the videos later in the week to give people time to settle and get ready for it. I think she did an awesome job, and she deserves to be commended for what she did. That's all my thoughts on the subject right now. So if you have any comments, please leave them below. Please, like, subscribe, share this video if you get a chance. And that's all I got. Big Rod out.